as we discussed? What are the factors affecting?
Ma'am, temperature.
Temperature. How the temperature is affecting the solubility?
Ma'am,
Mm. Okay, how pressure is affecting solubility?
ma'am,
Yes,
it has no
Siddesh.
significant effect.
Yeah, that is there already displayed in the screen. So what is the effect of temperature? What do you think if you increase or decrease the temperature, how it's going to affect the solubility of a solid in liquid?
Ma'am, it will vary from different.
Okay, so we'll discuss that in detail. We're basically going to discuss about what are the factors affecting which the solubility of a liquid or a gas in a liquid solid, right? So first we will discuss about a solid and liquid, and as you can see, the first point what we discussed yesterday was about pressure. Pressure has no significant effect on the solubility. Pressure increase or decrease, there is no change in the solubility. That was the first point. Analyze the effect of temperature on the solubility, we were analyzing this graph. So what are the major points you can find out from the graph?
Some of they all vary differently.
Yeah, the effect of solubility versus temperature, that means effect of temperature on the solubility is different on different types of solid, and most of them it is like increases with increase in temperature. As you can see here, temperature increases, solubility also increases, but for certain compound like cesium sulfate is one of the example where you can see solubility is decreasing as you increase the temperature. Yeah, so this difference is because you can say in general there are different types of solid. Some solid when they undergo dissolution they gives out heat, that means the process is endothermic. That means a solute which gives out heat when get dissolved are called endothermic. They give out energy. They give out as a heat, so that's the endothermic process. So such kind of solids, their solubility increases. I mean, endothermic means they take energy, not giving out. They take energy when they are getting dissolved. For such kind of solid solutes, the reaction or the process will be more, or the solubility will be more when you are increasing the temperature. So you have to consider the solutes in two different category. The one which is taking energy while getting dissolved, and the second type, the one which is giving out energy when get dissolved. There are two types of solutes. Okay, say example NaCl or sugar, etc., where it actually takes energy when they are getting dissolved, right? Because they need to break the lattice, so they need the energy. So for them, when you increase the temperature, the solubility increases, right? So that is what is written. The dissolution process is endothermic. If in a saturated solution, if you are taking the dissolution process as endothermic, then the solubility should increase with rise in temperature. Okay? If there are certain like cesium sulfate and all, for them dissolution is an exothermic process. That means if you dissolve, you can see that it is producing heat. That means it is exothermic. Such kind of thing, if you keep on heating, the reaction will become in the backward direction. That is what as per the Le Chatelier principle. Okay. So endothermic reaction, we know that increase in temperature favors endothermic reaction, and increase in temperature mean it will not favor the exothermic reaction. So that is why you can say in general, if the dissolution process is endothermic, then solubility increases with temperature. That is most of the common solute that we see in everyday life is coming under that, sugar, salt, okay, any ionic compound and all, where it is an endothermic process, so it increases with increase in temperature. But the other case is like when the dissolution process is exothermic, then the solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Am I clear? Yes, Jahan. Okay, I hope you're making the notes along with it. So write only the major point. No need to write the entire thing. Don't copy. Just write that if the process, if the dissolution process is endothermic. Yes, Jahan.
Exothermic means it gives out heat, right?
Yeah. Endo mean takes. Entering. Exo mean exit. Giving out. Other than pressure and temperature, what do you think will be the other factors affecting the solubility of a solid?
Volume.
Volume, that's why they use the word saturation. Okay, so that the volume is not a factor over here.
Solid, no.
And yesterday, I think some of you were pointing out that what factor.
Properties of the solid.
I mean the nature, right? Nature. Yeah, somebody is.
One second, your audio is switched on.
Yeah, it's switched on. Nature of the solid and the solvent, because we know that like always dissolves like, right? So polar solute will get dissolved in polar solvent. That is why NaCl or sugar, whatever you take, they get dissolved in water because like dissolves like. But sugar and salt will not dissolve in organic solvents like benzene, right? Because it is non-polar, so it will not get dissolved. So in this slide, it's a third factor, but don't write everything because they are given an example of sodium chloride and sugar. Sodium chloride and sugar dissolve readily in water, but it will not dissolve in benzene. Similarly, naphthalene and anthracene, these are organic compound. It won't be dissolving in water, but it will get dissolved in benzene. So it depends on the nature of solute, that the solid that you've taken, and the nature of the solvent you've taken. So only write the third factor, nature of solute and solvent, and you can write this one. Like dissolves like. That means, yeah. That means solute dissolves in a solvent if the intermolecular interactions are similar in the two. So same type of interaction, maybe some cases the solubility is because of hydrogen bonding. Like that we are learning many examples already. So if there should be some interaction between the solute and solvent. If it is a similar kind of interaction, then they can make a bond for the solubility. So these are the basically three factors affecting the solubility of a solid in liquid. Pressure, no effect. Temperature has an effect, but that again depends on whether the dissolution is endothermic or exothermic. If the dissolution process is endothermic, need energy, then increase in temperature will increase the solubility. If the solution is exothermic, they gives out energy when they get dissolved, then the process will be like the, what you can say, the solubility will be decreasing with increase in temperature. And the third factor we discussed, nature of solute and solvent. Like always dissolves like, that means there should be a similar interaction between solid and the solvent, that is the solute and solvent. So this is when you're taking a solid substance and getting dissolved in a solution, like in a solvent, liquid solvent. Same thing we're going to discuss in another case where you're taking a gas and trying to get dissolved. Can you give me, suggest an example where you're seeing like gas getting dissolved in liquid? Soda or any aerated or carbon. Yeah. That is so. Whenever we take that example, no, you just imagine that situation, because that's a situation where you have seen many times. Opening a cola or Pepsi bottle or soda bottle or any aerated drink, you can see that the gas will ooze out immediately when you open the lid. Yeah? That's what happening. Yeah. So we're gonna analyze again the same thing. We're gonna apply for the solubility of a gas in liquid. The next side heading is solubility of a gas in liquid. And this is what more important, because solubility of a solid and a liquid is a kind of example that you already learned in grade 9. I think that is the class where you discussed about solute and solvent and all. So here we are basically going to look at solubility of a gas. That is, a gas is the solute and solvent is a liquid state. Yeah, one by one we'll discuss. Only write the important one. First one, again, this is similar to the previous one. The nature of gaseous solute and the solvent. Again here you can see that there are certain gases which are readily soluble in water and some are not. Say example, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen, less soluble in water, but H2S, that is hydrogen sulfide and ammonia, is more soluble in water. That means solubility depends on what type of gas and what type of solvent you are taking. So H2O2 N2, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, less soluble in water but more soluble in ethyl alcohol. But in another way, H2S and NH3, they are highly soluble in water but less soluble in ethyl. This is just an example. You don't, if you don't want, you don't write, but write it as a point. The solubility of a gas depends on the nature, its nature, which gas and which solvent you are taking. All the gases are not soluble in all the type of liquids. Okay, let's discuss the second one. Depends on the nature of the gas and the nature of the solvent. Which solvent you are taking, which gas you are taking. What will be the effect of temperature? What do you think? Just think about your can. What you can see. If you open a cola can inside a room where the AC is on and the temperature is set around 18 degrees Celsius, and if you open the same can outside at 35 degrees Celsius, what do you will feel a difference in that? What difference do you feel in that? Have you ever tried it? Actually, that can be given as a small act. And don't drink, okay? Don't think that to go to your parents saying that ma'am has asked for to do this experiment. Buy me cola bottles.
That's okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, what bottles?
Muzamil don't know anything, right?
Ma'am, will it be more bubbly at a higher temperature? Because
At high temperature, what will happen?
Ma'am, I'm very innocent to know all those things.
Yeah, that I know, Muzamil. You're very. I don't have any argument on that. Okay, so coming back to discussion, yeah, when you open the can, just try if it's in a temperature which is very high compared to room temperature, it will be more vigorous, and the reason can be because when you're heating or the temperature is high, the particles or that is dissolved the gas gains more energy, so they try to give out or move out very quickly. So solubility actually decreases with increase in temperature. Okay, solubility decreases because when you are compare a glass where you have taken an aerated water and one is at 30 degree and other one is at 70 degree. At 70 degree, what happens is like the particles have got more energy. When they have a more energy, we know that it undergo evaporation. Evaporation means they're turning back to the gaseous state. Dissolved gas, example carbon dioxide, whatever, it will turn to CO2 vapors or gas. So that process of converting in a dissolved gas to a normal gaseous state will be faster. That is why you can see here solubility decreases with increase in temperature. So write as a point, effect of temperature, solubility decreases with increase in temperature. This is because with increase in temperature, solute dissolved in solution bubbles out by gaining energy. Because they're getting energy, they're higher in energy, so they don't want to get be in a dissolved state, so they try to bubble out easily than at normal, what you can say, at lower temperature. You should be able to give an explanation for that. That's why you don't have to write anything, just write what is the effect. Solubility decreases or inversely proportional to temperature. In this case, solubility decreases with increase in temperature. At higher temperatures, particles gains more energy and they tend to bubble out easily. They tend to move out of the container. The third factor is pressure again. What do you think? Whether pressure will have an effect or will not have an effect?
The more pressure, the more solubility, the more so.
Because in the case of solid in liquid, there was no effect. But in the case of a gas, when you're trying to dissolve it in a liquid, there is an effect.
So solubility increases here.
Solubility increases.
That's why soda cans pop when they burst.
Yeah, because you know that all these carbonated drinks are prepared or bottled at very high pressure. At very high pressure, carbon dioxide gas is being passed through that liquid so that it get dissolved. But when you're opening the can, what happened? The room temperature is, room pressure compared to the pressure which is at which it is got, what you can say, packed is different. So room pressure, that atmospheric pressure is less. So when the pressure is less, solubility decreases mean gas will escape. That is why if you keep a soda can open for some time and after some time you come and check, it just looks like water. There is no gas left because pressure is very low when it is at room atmospheric pressure, normal atmospheric pressure. So it escapes. When it is getting bottled, it is at very high pressure. That is why it is dissolving. At low pressure, solubility decreases, so the gas is escaping. Okay, so that's what there in the next slide. Effect of pressure. Solubility of gaseous solute in a liquid solvent increases with increase in the pressure. When you increase the pressure, more amount of gas will be dissolved in the solution or in the liquid. So the diagram is given. You can see first case there is less pressure and you can see the number of gas molecule which is not dissolved. And when you apply more pressure, more amount of gas molecules are now in the liquid state. Right? So here what is they have shown is like this is what actually the liquid level. Till here there is a liquid and after that there was an empty space. Then only it is got covered. This empty space is like usually where the gas molecule is trying to escape. The one which is dissolved, we know that it can't go beyond a saturation level, right? A gas you're trying to dissolve to a particular amount of liquid and you're passing the gas to it. And after some time, like there is a normal tendency of a gas molecule to escape, but as it is closed, it can't go outside the container. So that is why some of the gas molecule, they are in the vapor state, they are existing just above the liquid level. So that was more in number because that means solubility is less when the pressure is less. When you increase the pressure, that is the second diagram, you can see the number of particles in the vapor state is now very less. They have moved to the liquid state. That means solubility increased. So what you can identify here is like the concentration of dissolved gas is directly proportional to the pressure of the gas upon the solution. Right? So when you take a solution where the gas is dissolved in liquid, the gas has a tendency to evaporate even at whatever the condition. So some of the gas molecules will evaporate and stay as a vapor above the liquid level, right? So this will be more, gas will be in the vapor state if the pressure is low. If the pressure is low, mean the amount of gas in the liquid will be very less, rather they try to be in a vapor state, not in a dissolved condition. But in the second diagram, when you are applying the pressure, more gas molecule are now got dissolved to the liquid and less amount of vapors in the above the liquid level. So that's why you can see the concentration. Concentration means how much gas molecules are present in your solution that is directly proportional to the pressure upon the gas, pressure of the gas upon the solution. How much pressure these gas is exerting on the solution. That's why we can say pressure is directly proportional to the concentration of the gas, or you can say the solubility. Concentration means its solubility. Am I clear? So here the point to be written, the solubility increases with increase in pressure, and you can say when the pressure increases, more gas get dissolved in a solution, or you can say the concentration of the gas in liquid increases. Solubility increases mean more concentrated, right? That's what. Any doubt in this point? These 3 point effect of factors affecting the solubility of a gas in liquid. Nature of the gas and solvent. Then you have temperature. Temperature is inversely proportional. That is, higher the temperature, less solubility. And the pressure is directly proportional. Higher the pressure, more gas will get dissolved. Okay. So based on this concept, there has been a law has been put forward, which is known as Henry's law. That is the first law we are learning this year. Henry's law says that partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to mole fraction of the gas in the solution. So mole fraction is a unit of concentration. That means instead of saying the pressure is directly proportional to the concentration of the gas, they have taken one unit of concentration, that is mole fraction. So same thing, what we discussed in the previous slide, same thing, but it has been postulated, put forward as a law called Henry's law, which says that partial, what do you mean by partial pressure? What is a partial pressure? How it is different from total pressure? How? That means if you have a mix of something, mix of gases or mix of different components, then the contribution of a particular gas towards the total pressure, that is what a partial pressure means. So if you take carbon dioxide dissolved in water, we know that some of the carbon dioxide will stay above the liquid level. So this carbon dioxide gas will exert a pressure to the liquid, right? So that is what they meant by partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase, which is directly proportional to how much is the concentration of the gas in the solution. We compare the two diagrams. First case is pressure P1, less pressure. You can see more particles are there because pressure is less. More particles are in vapor state, not in the liquid state. They are not dissolved. So that means concentration, here the concentration is less because less number of particles are there in the dissolved state. But when you have high pressure, more gas molecules are dissolved. So that means concentration increases. That's why you can say always concentration is directly proportional to the pressure. So here they explained in terms of partial pressure. That means how much pressure a gas is exerting on the solution. It is directly, instead of concentration, they just use the word mole fraction. So, what is the formula again? Yeah, I'll tell you. Partial pressure P is directly proportional to mole fraction chi. Yeah, this is the equation statement. Henry's law states that partial pressure of a gas is directly proportional to mole fraction of a gas in that solution. When you know, when you have to remove a proportionality sign, you need to introduce a proportionality constant, right? So that is what KH. KH is a proportionality constant called Henry's law's gas constant. KH is Henry's law gas constant. PG means partial pressure of the gas, and chi means it's a mole fraction of gas. What we discussed in the previous slide is the same thing only here, but here it has been formulated as a law. That is why you need to learn the exact statement. Partial pressure of a gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the concentration of the, or that means instead of concentration, they specifically used mole fraction. If you're writing concentration, then it is not Henry's law. If it is Henry's law, then it should be mole fraction. Mole fraction of the gas in the solution. Am I clear?
And can you repeat what partial pressure was?
Partial pressure mean, I'll take an example. Just imagine you got a container where you have gas A, B and C. So total pressure inside the container will be PT. That is what total pressure. But this total pressure will be the combination of pressure exerted by A, pressure exerted by B, and pressure exerted by C. These different components are there. So partial pressure means what is the contribution of A towards the total pressure. That will be known as partial pressure of A. If B is contributing certain amount, that will be the partial pressure of B. And similarly, C also will be contributing certain amount to the total pressure, and that will be known as the partial pressure of C. Like that, the contribution of an individual gas in a mixture is called partial pressure. When it's about a mixture, then only they use the word partial pressure. If it's about a pure gas, then it is pressure. That means pressure of the gas will be equal to total pressure.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Okay, because in a vacant space, rather than these gas, example, if talk about carbon dioxide and carbon dioxide, along with the carbon dioxide will be air, right? Air means it's another gases are there. So that is not affecting the solubility. We are talking about what is the vapor pressure exerted by carbon dioxide in the vapor phase and the concentration of carbon dioxide dissolved in the solution. That is what directly proportional. We are not looking into the other gases present in air and how they affect the solubility. This is just connecting what is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and concentration of carbon dioxide inside the solution. That means the solubility. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll continue Sunday with the more discussion on Henry's law and some numericals based on it. Okay. So please go through it and come back to me if you have any doubts.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Bye.